Imagine a world lit by the flicker of gas lamps, where power was a luxury for the few. Now, look around you. The screen you're watching, the light in your room, the very electricity humming through your walls. Much of this reality was dreamed up in the mind of one man, a man whose name was almost erased from the history he so profoundly shaped. This is the real story of Nikola Tesla. He wasn't just an inventor. He was a visionary, a futurist who saw the 21st century 100 years before it arrived. But his genius was matched only by his tragedy. How did the man who invented the modern world die broke and alone? And why was he systematically written out of the very textbooks that should have hailed him as a hero? Stick with me, because we're about to uncover the shocking truths, the hidden rivalries, and the enduring legacy of the man who truly electrified our planet. Our story begins not in a gleaming lab, but in a small village in the Austrian Empire, Moderande, Croatia, in 1856. Born during a fierce lightning storm, local legend says it was an omen. The midwife called it a bad sign, but his mother declared, "No, he will be a child of light." And she couldn't have been more right. From a young age, Tesla's mind worked differently. He was plagued by intense visions, flashes of light that would reveal fully formed inventions, detailed down to the last screw. He didn't need blueprints. He built his machines from the images in his head. This uncanny ability was both a gift and a curse, setting him apart from everyone he knew. After studying engineering, a young, ambitious Tesla arrived in America in 1884 with just 4 cents in his pocket, a book of poetry, and a letter of recommendation to the most famous inventor of the era, Thomas Edison. The letter simply read, "My dear Edison, I know 2 great men, and you are one of them. The other is this young man." Edison, the pragmatic businessman, hired Tesla immediately, but their partnership was destined to fail. It was a clash of titans, a battle of fundamentally different philosophies. Edison was a champion of direct current, or DC. It was his baby, and he'd built an empire on it. DC worked, but it was inefficient and couldn't travel long distances. Tesla, however, had a revolutionary idea. Alternating current, or AC. AC was elegant, efficient, and could transmit power over hundreds of miles, making electricity accessible and affordable for everyone. He presented his brilliant AC motor designs to Edison, who casually dismissed them. Edison even offered Tesla a $50,000 bonus, a fortune at the time, if he could improve Edison's own DC generators. Tesla, working tirelessly, did just that. When he went to collect his reward, Edison laughed it off, saying, "Tesla, you don't understand our American humor." This wasn't just a joke. It was a betrayal that ignited one of the greatest rivalries in scientific history. The War of the Currents. Tesla, feeling cheated and disrespected, quit. For a year, he was forced to dig ditches for $2 a day just to survive. The man whose mind held the key to the future was literally digging in the dirt. But genius can't be buried forever. His fortunes changed when he partnered with George Westinghouse, an industrialist who saw the incredible potential in Tesla's AC system. The war was on. Edison, seeing his DC empire threatened, launched a vicious smear campaign against AC. He was a master of public relations and used every dirty trick in the book. He publicly electrocuted stray animals, from dogs and cats to even an elephant named Topsy, all to prove how dangerous his rival's alternating current was. He spread fear and misinformation, trying to paint AC as a deadly force. But Tesla fought back, not with fear, but with spectacle. At the 1893 Chicago World's Fair, in a display that seemed like pure magic, Tesla and Westinghouse lit up the entire exhibition with AC power, creating a dazzling city of light that left the world in awe. To counter Edison's propaganda, Tesla would stand on a stage, allowing hundreds of thousands of volts of alternating current to flow harmlessly through his own body, illuminating light bulbs he held in his hands. It was science as performance art, and it was undeniable. Tesla had won the contract to harness the immense power of Niagara Falls. Using his AC system sealed the deal. The age of AC had begun, and the world would never be the same. With the War of the Currents won, Tesla's mind soared to even greater heights. He established his legendary laboratories, first in New York and later at Colorado Springs. These were not just workshops, they were temples of innovation, places where the impossible was made real. He invented the Tesla coil, a device that could produce massive bolts of lightning and is still used in radios and televisions today. He pioneered radio technology, filing his patents before Guglielmo Marconi, who was often wrongly credited with its invention. In fact, the U.S. Supreme Court would later overturn Marconi's patent in 1943, posthumously restoring credit to Tesla. But by then, the history books had already been written. But Tesla's grandest vision was yet to come. In Colorado Springs, under a giant tower topped with a copper ball, he conducted his most daring experiments. He wanted to do more than just send power through wires. He wanted to send it through the air itself. He dreamed of a global wireless system that would transmit electricity and information to any point on the planet for free. Imagine, free, unlimited energy for all of humanity. It was a utopian vision. During one experiment, he lit 200 light bulbs wirelessly from 26 miles away and created man-made lightning bolts over 130 feet long. He believed he had detected signals from another planet, possibly Mars, making him a pioneer in the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. Fueled by this vision, he secured funding from the powerful banker J.P. Morgan to build his masterpiece on Long Island, the World Tower. This magnificent 187-foot structure was meant to be the first broadcast station in his world wireless system. But when Morgan realized Tesla's true goal wasn't just to send messages, but to provide free energy, he pulled the plug. Why would he support a system that would make his other energy investments worthless? Morgan couldn't put a meter on free energy. The project collapsed. Wardenclyffe Tower, a monument to a future that could have been, was eventually torn down for scrap. This was the turning point. Betrayed by his financiers and ridiculed by the scientific community, Tesla's star began to fade. He continued to invent, conceptualizing everything from robotics and vertical takeoff aircraft to renewable energy and even a directed energy weapon he called a death ray, which he believed would make war impossible. But without funding and support, his greatest ideas remained trapped in his mind and notebooks. The world had celebrated his genius when it was profitable, but it abandoned him when his vision became too radical, too generous. The final decades of Nikola Tesla's life are a heartbreaking tale of decline. The man who had once hobnobbed with high society and lit up the world found himself living in a series of New York hotels, his bills often going unpaid. His obsessive-compulsive tendencies present his whole life intensified. He became increasingly eccentric, communicating with pigeons, whom he loved and cared for deeply. He claimed one particular white pigeon was his dearest friend. In 1943, at the age of 86, Nikola Tesla died, as he had lived for so long, alone and in debt, in room 3327 of the New Yorker Hotel. But the story doesn't end there. Shortly after his death, the FBI swooped in and seized all of his property, including trunks full of his research notes and papers. Officially, they were looking for his death ray plans amidst World War II fears. To this day, many of his documents remain classified, fueling countless conspiracy theories. What did Tesla really discover? What technologies are being kept from the public? The mystery only adds to his legend. For decades, his name was a footnote. Edison was the hero in the textbooks. Tesla was the mad scientist. But in recent years, the truth has resurfaced. The internet age, in a twist of irony, has helped resurrect the reputation of the man who dreamed of a global wireless information network. Today, his name is synonymous with innovation, thanks in no small part to a certain electric car company that adopted his name. The unit of magnetic field strength is the Tesla. He is no longer erased. Nikola Tesla's story is a powerful, cautionary tale. It's a story of corporate greed versus humanistic vision, of public relations versus scientific truth. He gave us the AC electrical system, radio, remote control, and the fundamental principles behind so much of our modern tech. He didn't just invent devices, he invented the future. He dreamed of a better world, powered by clean, free energy, and connected by a web of information. A world we are still striving to build. So next time you flip a switch, just remember the child of light, the forgotten genius who lit up the dark, Nikola Tesla. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey. If you found this story as fascinating as we do, Please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into history's most compelling mysteries. See you next time.